Welcome, everyone. Today, we're not just looking at facts and figures. We're going on a journey, narrating some truly chilling stories, tales of the unknown, the terrifying things that have left investigators completely stumped and, well, kept people talking for years. We'll be drawing from various sources, reports, real accounts, trying to piece together the most crucial, unsettling parts of these strange events. Our aim is really to tell these stories in a way that grips you, that makes you feel the suspense, but also respects the seriousness of it all. So prepare yourself. Because these aren't just stories. They're fragments of reality that, honestly, continue to haunt those who encounter them. We begin our first tale high in the Hamadaban Mountains, Siberia, August 5th, 1993. Picture this. A team of 7 mountaineers, mostly young, really eager, led by Lyudmila Korovina. She was very experienced, a seasoned hiker. Among them was Sasha Krizin, effectively her adopted son, just 23, and Tatiana Filipenko-Dennis, 24 years old. Now, the weather forecast had been good. But Siberia, well, it had other plans. They got hit hard by freezing rain, snow. Just blasted.
And Lyudmila, despite all her experience, she made a critical mistake the night before, August 4th. She had them camp out on this totally exposed slope, like 4 kilometers from the nearest trees, in a huge thunderstorm. So the next morning, they're packing up, ready to head down. And then the horror starts, just out of nowhere. Sasha, the young man, he suddenly starts bleeding, heavily. From his nose, his ears, his mouth. He just collapses, dead within moments. A healthy young guy. Gone. Just like that. Everyone's just stunned, completely dumbfounded. Lyudmila, she's distraught, naturally. She tells the others, go down, get down the mountain, while she stays with Sasha's body. But maybe a minute later, maybe less, Lyudmila screams, just cries out for help, says she can't move. They rush back, find her sprawled there, right beside Sasha. And she's bleeding too, from her face, just like him.
And what's so frightening there is the speed, The almost identical symptoms hitting one after the other. First Sasha, then Lyudmila. For the rest of them witnessing that, especially their leader, the terror must have just skyrocketed. Instantly.
Oh, absolutely. Pure panic set in. Valya Utachenko, she was the only one who survived this. She tells the story. The next moments were just horrifying. Timur and Vika, 2 others, they start tearing at their clothes, twitching, foaming at the mouth like they'd lost their minds. Dennis runs, hides behind some rocks. Tatiana starts banging her head against stones, just frenzy. Valya tries to help Vika, the youngest girl, and Vika bites her, just bites her. Dennis and Valya, they're still okay somehow. We sprint down the mountain. Dennis shouts at Valya, leave your bag, just take essentials and run. But Valya looks back for a second. And Dennis is down too, on the ground, bleeding from everywhere, just like the others. So Valya's alone, terrified. She runs and runs, ends up spending the freezing night hiding in the forest somewhere. The next morning, she forces herself to go back. And she describes it as just pure carnage. All 6 of her friends, her fellow hikers, dead, their bodies twisted, faces locked in pain. Some had empty eye sockets, mouths open. She mentioned worms already. Rescuers later talked about the scary picture it was, and the smell in the helicopter transporting the bodies.
They said it was an impossible smell, and to this day, nobody knows what happened. Autopsies, they showed the hikers were healthy, but they all had this bruising in their lungs. Theories range from, some weird sickness, maybe poison, hypothermia gone wild. Some even whisper about, a secret nerve agent test. What makes it even weirder? There were other hiking groups nearby, same area, same time, totally unaffected. Nothing happened to them. It's still debated online. No answers.
The Hamadaban Pass Incident, it really is a stark reminder, isn't it? How quickly things can turn fatal and utterly inexplicable in these remote places. It just defies easy explanation.
It really does. Makes you wonder. Okay, so from the icy slopes of Siberia, let's shift gears. Our next story takes us somewhere very different. Delhi, India, 2018. We're talking about the Chundawats, a normal, respectable, middle-class family. 11 members living together. They owned a couple of stores. Their grocery shop was like the heart of the neighborhood. Everyone knew them. So morning of July 1st, 2018, people go to the shop, regulars, and it's closed, which is really weird. Pavnish, the eldest son, he loved that business. Never opened late, ever. Family friend gets worried, goes to the house, finds the front door, unlocked, which is also strange. He goes inside, and what he sees is like something from a nightmare. 10 bodies hanging in a circle from the hallway ceiling, like branches on a tree just swaying, hands tied behind their backs, eyes blindfolded, mouths taped, ears plugged with cotton wool, faces covered with cloth, and 5 stools standing underneath them. And then the matriarch, the Rayan Devi, she's 77, she's found on the floor, lifeless, separate from the others.
That arrangement, it's so deliberate, isn't it? Almost, as you said, theatrical. It immediately signals something beyond a simple crime, something ritualistic, for sure.
Exactly. The police arrive, and they're just baffled. Who would do this? The family didn't really have enemies. Why this ritualistic setup? Why was the grandmother treated differently? Autopsies came back, no struggle, no drugs or poisons, nothing forced. Those 5 stools, under 10 bodies, and no sign of a fight. and pointing towards mass suicide. But, I mean, how? How do 11 people tie their own hands behind their backs and put on blindfolds and tape? The coverings, they were all cut from the same bedsheet. That suggests it was maybe decided quickly, but the setup itself felt so planned. It's contradictory. Then more weird stuff came out. Like 8 of the family's cell phones were found taped up together inside a hidden drawer, like hidden away but kept. The investigation took a really strange turn when they started hearing about Lalit. He was the 45-year-old second son. People said he'd been acting odd for years. He talked about his dead father visiting him in dreams. Said his father was trying to possess him sometimes. And this led them to find diaries. 11 diaries, lots of notebooks too, all belonging to Lalit. For 11 years he'd been writing in them, documenting this obsession he had with moksha. Salvation, liberation for the family's souls. Turns out he had this secret life, deep into the occult. And somehow he pulled his entire family into these practices. Notebooks detailed rituals, ways to summon his father's spirit.
And that progression is fascinating in a horrifying way. From one person's delusion to it becoming a shared belief system within the whole family unit, that's the core of the tragedy.
Absolutely. And the most chilling part, they found Lalit's own instructions for this final ritual. He called it the Kriya. His notes spelled it out exactly, how they should tie their hands, cover their faces. He even wrote that Narayan, the grandmother, couldn't stand long, so she'd do it lying on the floor. And that's exactly how they found them. The bodies matched his instructions perfectly. It was suddenly terrifyingly clear the family did this to themselves, following his lead, planning it all in secret. But here's the truly haunting twist. Lalit's notes, Balasi, the family thought they would survive this ritual. He literally wrote something like, everyone will tie their own hands, and when the ritual's done, then everyone will help each other untie hands. I have plans. Another ritual was scheduled for the next week. One of the granddaughters, Priyanka, was getting married the week after. They had a future planned. They didn't expect to die. Investigators called it shared psychotic disorder.
Yes, shared psychotic disorder, or folie à deux. It's rare, but it happens when delusions spread from one dominant person to others close to them. The Chundawat's case is just such an extreme, devastating example of how those shared beliefs led to, well, this tragic outcome, even though they thought they were doing something else entirely.
It's just unbelievable. The power of belief. Okay. Our final story tonight takes us to China. 1996. Nanjing University. This is one of the most infamous, really disturbing cold cases in Chinese history. It's basically become an urban legend now. So, January 19th, 1996. Morning. A cleaner at the university finds a bag in a dumpster. Thinks it's just, leftover meat from the cafeteria or something. So she actually takes it home to maybe use it. She starts washing it and finds 3 human fingers. Severed fingers. Definitely not cafeteria waste. Turns out the police were already getting similar reports. Around the campus, 8 other bags were found, all filled with human remains. But they'd been, diced up and cooked, boiled. Near the main gate, they found a human head, a woman's head wrapped in a bedsheet. Near a canal, parts of her torso and her clothes neatly folded nearby, stained with blood. But her underwear was missing. In total, they found over 2,000 separate pieces of the victim. Coroners had the grim task of putting her back together. They found 4 organs were missing. Heart, liver, spleen, and part of her intestines. And whoever did this, they used multiple tools. Forensics said it was done with surgical precision.
That phrase, surgical precision, really stands out, doesn't it? It implies skill, knowledge of anatomy, maybe detachment, not a crime of rage, someone methodical, careful. It narrows the field maybe, but also suggests someone good at covering their tracks.
Exactly. Cold and calculated. The victim was identified as Diao Eiching, a 19-year-old freshman, described as shy, kept to herself mostly. Smart girl, good student, but didn't seem to have many friends or any enemies. Which is probably why nobody noticed she was missing for 9 whole days. 9 days. She was last seen on a busy market street the night she disappeared. The investigation was huge. Police questioned over 10,000 people, took blood samples, scoured that market area. Nothing. Absolutely nothing concrete turned up. The case just went cold. Stone cold. And, like with Hamadaban, the theories started online. Wild theories. Was she taken by the university hospital for some secret organ transplant? China's first intestinal transplant, maybe? Was she killed by some heavy metal fan in a ritual? Or maybe a victim of a cannibal serial killer known in the area? Or killed just for those 4 missing organs for the black market? There was even a theory about the method of 1,000 cuts, an ancient torture method meant to destroy the soul, may be done by a roommate.
It's classic, isn't it? When there's a vacuum of information, speculation rushes in. These theories, however bizarre, are attempts to make sense of the senseless, to impose some narrative on the horror. It shows how deeply an unsolved crime can affect the public imagination.
Totally. And then years later, this one local news source published an article, claimed the case was solved. They named a guy Li Ji Shaw, a respected medical professor, son of a high-ranking official. The article said he confessed, but then was released. Reason given, insufficient material evidence, and then he supposedly fled to the U.S. But here's the thing. That is the only article anywhere that claims it's solved. Now, given this system, could it be true? Maybe. A cover-up? Possible. And Lee Ji Shaw certainly had the medical skills needed for that kind of work, but without any other sources backing it up, it just hangs there. Was it solved and hushed up? Or was he just a convenient scapegoat? We just don't know. The case is stuck in this weird limbo, still completely unresolved.
And the Nanjing case really underscores that horror, doesn't it? The horror of not just the crime itself, the extreme violence and that chilling precision, but also the horror of the unknown, the questions that just linger unanswered.
So these stories we've shared today, Hamadaban Pass, the Chundawat's family, Nanjing University, they really show how quickly reality can just fray at the edges, become something truly inexplicable. They aren't just cases, are they? They're these deep, unsettling narratives, reminders of the mysteries that still exist, hiding in the shadows, defying easy answers, and leaving this lasting chill.
And maybe that's why they stick with us decades later. That fundamental human need to understand, to find answers even when there are none readily available, to try and make sense of the chaos.
We really hope listening to these accounts has given you something to think about, maybe sparked your curiosity as much as ours. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the unexplained. If you found these stories as captivating and as eerie as we did, please do like this story, share it with anyone else you know who appreciates a good, dark mystery, and make sure to subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs, for more chilling narratives. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning the darkness.